morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. We've got a lot of people in the chat already. We're going to give a ton of shout outs, and we got some fun things to do for this show. We got a fun cast, not a fun recap screen. We go 1-3 overall. Shout out to Prop Bet Guy who hits yet another play. LaMelo Ball under 27.5 points and assists, but we end up losing the rest of the way. Larry's pick, by the way, was void because Jalen Johnson didn't play. 1-3. We got to improve on 1-3, and I think we've got the crew to do it. We've got a fun crew today, and we've got a sharp crew. Check this out. Host of the Early Wedge, Eric Cohen, Jeff Hochman, Tom Casale, and John Buckets Eimer. Buckets, how you doing, buddy?
Much better now that EC's on the show. Tom, Jeff, Sia, you guys are great, but out of the thousands of shows I've done with the Early Edge, I've only ever done one with EC over that time, so it's kind of I think a big day for me and him.
EC, how did you all do when you were on the show together? Did you go undefeated, I'm sure?
Well, it was a special Early Edge in 5 show, May 18th, 2023. Buckets was in the airport as a special guest. I remember it like it was yesterday. So this is the first Early Edge morning show that I have ever shared the screen with the great Buckets.
Just out of curiosity, you just made up that date, right?
No, that's a real date.
And I know he did it because I have that date tattooed on my lower back in honor of that moment. So special.
Wait, seriously, how do you know that that's the date?
See, I'm great with dates. You know me and random things. Come on, I remember things like this.
All right. Well, you and I have a go ahead.
No, that's the day I got to host the Early Edge in 5, the first time I ever got a chance to host that show. And we brought on special guests, and Buckets was the grand finale.
All right. We've got a date tonight, the Early Wedge, 7 o'clock. You, me, Patrick McDonald, Jason Sobel. Very much looking forward to that. A lot of people talking about one and done in the chat already. Jeff Hochman, you cover so many different things. Well, I'm just curious, what are we covering today? Are we going with college basketball, NHL? What do you got?
Oh, we got tons of NHL tonight, don't we, to break down? No. I'm breaking down some college basketball for everybody. I found a spot I think that will get the cash. The line has moved a little bit, but we're going to roll with it. See ya. I'm already missing football. I missed the process of handicapping throughout the week. It just sucks. No football till August, but we'll get through it.
That's Jeff. That's what PGA is for. You got every Monday, every Sunday night, you got a whole week to get through some golf handicapping. So no NHL, Jeff, but I'm just curious. Are you looking at the Olympic hockey at all?
I am. I'm dabbling. I posted on the Discord that I thought Sweden would be a good bet to get any medal, gold, silver, or bronze. That was -115 when I gave it out. And I also thought Sweden had a little value to win the gold. It was +650. So yeah, I'm not diving deep like I do in the NHL every day, but yeah, I'm dabbling.
All right. Well, we got a couple of great promos to talk about, Buckets. I know you have one to tell people about. I have one to tell people about with golf. And I think it's really interesting because it kind of implicates the without Scotty market, in my opinion, even though it has nothing to do with Scotty Scheffler specifically. But before we get to soccer, before we get to golf and college basketball, Tom, I want you to kick us off, and here's why. Yesterday, you said, as soon as the Duke line comes out, whatever it is, I'm probably going to be hammering it. And of course, as you promised, you did. You put it on SportsLine. You got the best number like you usually do. You put it in the SportsLine Discord. Talk to me about Duke laying the points.
Yeah, this is the first time all season I'm betting Duke, to be honest. There's often not value with their number. The thing I like about it is they're not just coming off a loss. It's the way they lost. I don't know if people disagree with me watching the game, but Duke is miles better than North Carolina. I thought it coming in. I think it now. And I think when they play in the last game of the season, if you want to take 9.5 with North Carolina, God bless you, because Duke's going to run them out of the gym. So what happens is they controlled that game. Kudos to North Carolina. They stayed within shouting distance. But the last 7 minutes, Duke couldn't hit a shot. They blew that game. So when you're playing a team like Pitt, what I need to know is, are you going to care? Do you care about being there, right? I feel like they're going to be motivated tonight with the way they lost that game. And you just look at it matchup-wise. I mean, this, as bad as Pitt is, this couldn't be a worse matchup. They are the worst two-point defense in the ACC. Duke is the best two-point offense. They're going to get anything they want at the rim. Pitt turns the ball over a ton. Duke does a great job of turning turnovers into points. This has all the makings. And I never, ever lay this kind of wood on the road in a conference game. Probably the first time in 2 years I'm doing this. But as I was watching Duke lose that North Carolina game, a game they dominated for 33 minutes, I thought to myself, please tell me this team plays Pitt or Syracuse next. We got our wish. They play Pitt. So I'm going to lay it tonight. I think Duke wins this game by 30.
So a couple of follow-ups here. I do want to mention I had a couple of recommendations yesterday. The Pelicans, it hit like very easily. And I also talked about Xavier, Tom, and I talked about Xavier being like a pretty good spot with St. John's coming off that big win. I bring that up to bring this up. There's a question in the chat. And of course, Xavier covered swimmingly. We've got a game with North Carolina at Miami, and somebody was asking about that spread. North Carolina laying a point and a half. It does feel like a good spot for Miami, right? Any opinion on that game?
Yeah, I like Miami here. Again, the only thing is North Carolina is a talented team, and they could have like I said, I like Duke. Felt they controlled it. Well, and UNC stole that game at the end, right? They've won a few in a row now. Will that propel them? My problem with North Carolina is I don't like the coach. I don't think they're prepared game in and game out. And that's why you see them lose some of these games. But talent-wise, they have the talent. Miami's a sneaky team. If you ask me, maybe give me a team who's going to be further down that line come March Madness time, who might be able to win a couple of games. I would consider Miami because they did a great job of retooling that roster. I agree, the good spot, I lean Miami.
All right. And Ben says... Ben, I mean, listen, at any point you can come onto the show and talk about this, but it looks like Ben already put in Miami on the money line at -105 this morning. So that's something you might want to play from Ben. Last question on the Duke game. And again, please clarify, did you put this on SportsLine at 15.5? I know it's 16.5 now, but 17.5 in some places. So for SportsLine members, did they get this at 15.5? Or if you're in the SportsLine Discord, did you get it there? And would you play it at 17.5, Tom?
Yeah, so not to downgrade my play from yesterday, but when I come on Monday and I start off by giving you my play for Tuesday, you know that my play for Tuesday is probably stronger than the one I gave out for Monday that took me 6 hours to find. Monday is just a terrible slate for college. It just is. They have the Southland Conference. It's just a bad slate. So I was already on this yesterday. 16.5. I wrote it in my write-up. I said bet up to 16.5. 17.5. Again, this is a bit, as much as I like Duke to win big, you're talking about, winning by 20 points. So it's, at some point you got to cap that off. I would actually say if you're at 17.5, maybe look at the first half line instead to try to attack it that way.
Yeah, and as much as, listen, we do these shows live, every morning at 10, but Jeff, you're going to speak to this as well when you give out your play, that these lines, when you all put them out, they change. And that's really the incentive to become a SportsLine member is you get the lines when these gentlemen bet it and put it out in the SportsLine app. So something to keep in mind there. Again, people are asking about BYU laying points. Somebody's seeing still 2.5. So let's look and make sure we get the best line. But Jeff, we're coming up with a pick on BYU later. Let's get to soccer, though. Buckets, you've got a couple of plays to talk about, and then we get to talk about a little promo action. Go ahead.
All right. See, I'm going to start off.
Oh, are you? Are you sure?
I might. Listen, I'm babysitting my wonderful girlfriend's 2 guinea pigs right now.
Well,
There's nothing
not...
scarier, Sia, at 4 a.m. than waking up to week in the kitchen and I haven't slept. I'm doing my best. I'm gonna try to get through this. I just have to give you some context, Sia.
I thought you were gonna say, Buckets, like you're taking care of her dogs or something like you.
No,
you punctuated that with guinea pigs, and I'm supposed to care.
Hey, whoa! You don't want to piss off the guinea pig community. That is a passionate group of people.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's just pass this and move forward to some footy plays here. We've got Premier League matches this afternoon. I've got 2 player props for 2 of these games for us all. The exact same bet on both of these, and it's not both teams to score. So for those of you that hate BTTS, you're welcome. We're starting with Chelsea versus Leeds. Cole Palmer. We're having that fun discussion about whether is he actually back or did he just have one good game. He picked up a first half hat trick against Wolves. in their last match day. I think he's back. I think that's the confidence he needed to kind of remind himself that whether it's a cheap penalty or it's a tap, and it doesn't matter where it's coming from, he's the kind of guy that is capable of scoring goals, and he is supposed to be the best goal scorer on this team for a reason. His to score or assist against Leeds right now is currently minus 120. It's a bit of a revenge game because Leeds beat down Chelsea in their first fixture. I expect him to have a big match. As always, please be careful because he might not start. If he doesn't start, look at Joao Pedro in his place to score or assist at the same line here. Then for the second bet, looking at that match between West Ham versus Manchester United. And this might not mean anything to you guys, but if Manchester United win this match, it would be their 5th win in a row. There's a certain guy online who gets to cut his hair if that happens, so this is a very, very big deal, and I will not be the one that curses that winning streak. So instead of taking the money line, I'm going with Bruno Fernandes to score or assist at minus 110. He has now scored or assisted in his last 6 matches straight for the squad and has scored or assisted in 7 of the last 8 matches. He has been on absolute fire lately, assisting like it's nothing. If you want to take his assist at plus 145, you can do that instead. But I always like my safety net, especially because even still, with players like Mbeumo on the squad, he's sometimes on the penalty duty. So 2 player props for you there, Sia. Hope you enjoy him.
I hope I enjoy them too. But what I will enjoy, perhaps, if you convince me, is to be involved, Buckets, in this bracket games, UEFA Champions League bracket games contest. Can you tell everybody about that?
This is my first time doing an ad read in my 4 years of doing this, so I will not let you down, Sia. Give me a second, though. I might have already let you down.
Yeah, that's minus 750 that you'll let me down.
Oh, that's probably still a good bet. All right, here we go. Get ready for the knockout stage like never before with the UEFA Champions League bracket games. Create a pool to compete against friends or enter our bracket challenge for a chance to win a dream trip to London, including 2 UCL tickets and a tour of the UCL Today set. Plus, you get to see how you stack up against UCL Today's own Jamie Carragher and Micah Richard. Sign up now before brackets are unlocked after the round of 16 draw. Visit cbssports.com/UCL bracket or play on the CBS Sports app.
All right, let's read out that website again, or that URL, cbssports.com/UCL bracket. Buckets, you did a great job. That was really, really good.
Thank you. Cash the me to not let you down at plus 350 there, right?
Yeah, you still let me down, but it was still very good. In other words, like better than I expected it to be, but it's a pretty low bar. Do I get to play in that game? Like, should we all be playing in that, even if we're not like, big soccer bettors?
Do what I consistently do to you every time. Beat me at my sport like I always beat you at golf or at the Super Bowl. Like, it's just a fun challenge. Plus, if you win, if you somehow win that trip to London, put me in your luggage. Like, you got to take me with you. That'd make me really sad if you won, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But yes, sign up, everyone.
EC, a lot of people asking about one and done. Of course, that's now something we cover at the end of our early wedge show, again tonight at 7 o'clock on this SportsLine YouTube channel. A lot of people asking about our pick. Have you narrowed it already to like a one and done pick? You want to release it now?
See, I already put it in. I already put my pick in. Do you want? I don't want you to steal it again like you did. No, I'm kidding. Last week.
No, tell us.
And by the way, very disappointing Maverick McNeely on Sunday, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give out my pick now, or do you?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Zach in the chat referenced Victor Hovland. That's who I'm going with this week. Was really impressed with the way he putted at TPC Scottsdale. He won the 2018 U.S. Amateur at Pebble Beach. Hasn't played as well there since then as he probably should have. But this week, I think he top fives and makes us a lot of money in OAD.
Hovland makes a lot of sense. And don't forget, this is a signature event. So the cash for first place, I think, is 3.6 million. Second place is a couple million. Am I right, EC?
I think it's 4.
Okay. Well, it's somewhere between 3.5 and 4 million. So this is a big tournament. You can use a big time player like a Victor Hovland or even a Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy if that's what you choose to do. A lot of people asking about golf picks. So I want to let everybody know, EC, you have college basketball. Jeff Hochman, you have college basketball. But let me get my PGA pick out of the way. It's just an early PGA pick. I'll have this on the early wedge as well. This one, the best number you can get here is over at BetMGM. And I'm going to read you a BetMGM promo that I genuinely think if you're a golf bettor at all, you're going to be interested in. But let me get this bet out of the way. Jason Day, top Oceania, plus 120. This is also worded as top Australasian, depending on where you look. I think BetMGM has the Australasian number, but the more common way to refer to this is top Oceania, which generally includes like the Southwest Pacific Islands, but really is just talking about New Zealand, where Ryan Fox is from, Buckets boy Ryan Fox, and Jason Day. So we're talking about Australia, we're talking about New Zealand, and some of the bordering countries. Again, this is over at BetMGM. It's also at FanDuel, but it's a worse number. And I don't think any of the other books have this specific market, at least not yet. Jason Day plus 120. Who is he battling? Ryan Fox, again, Buckets boy, and Minwoo Lee. And I think this is a really good number. It's effectively a 72-hole three ball, right? Where we're just going up against two guys. And I do think bombers like Minwoo Lee and guys who can get it out there like Ryan Fox are actually pretty good here. Just because this is like kind of a club down course with the driver. So even though Minwoo Lee and Ryan Fox can be really erratic off the tee, that might not hurt them here because they might not be pulling driver that much. The problem with Minwoo Lee and Ryan Fox is their approach play, which is critical here, is not going to be nearly as good as Jason Day's, unless Jason Day just has an extremely off tournament. But the good news to cover that is that Jason Day's experience here is really good. So I'm getting the guy with the elite approach play and the elite experience, and I'm getting plus number on a three ball. I think this is a very fair number. I would have probably put it at maybe even money, maybe minus 105, because I just think Jason Day is far better over 4 days. Again, this is a no-cut event. Signature events are no-cut events. He gets 4 days to beat out Minwoo Lee and Ryan Fox. Really like the number. If you see it at plus 115 over at FanDuel, for some reason you don't have a BetMGM account, I'm certainly okay with that too. But again, BetMGM has the best number, and BetMGM has this incredible promo. BetMGM players will be eligible to receive their stake back in cash as a second chance refund on any pre-tournament, straight, or golf tournament winner wagers on Mondays through Wednesdays. Again, you can make these pre-tournament bets Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. This means if the player you bet on does not win the tournament, but does finish in second place, you get your money back. So in other words, let's say you take Jason Day to win the tournament, for example, and Scotty Scheffler wins the tournament, and Jason Day finishes second, you get your Jason Day stake back. That is huge. This promotion will be available pre-tournament for all applicable golf events on Mondays through Wednesdays throughout the golf season, only at BetMGM. So again, I like the without Scotty Scheffler market, and I'll probably bet it again this week. But this is this promo is a way to bet your outright and still not have to worry about Scotty, because at the very least, you get your stake back.
Well, hey, Sia, first of all, we always appreciate the geography lesson. I thought Buckets was the only one that was going to give us something with geography related. I'm not that smart with my continents, but I'm glad that you shored that up for me today. Secondly, Jason Day's 7 top 10s here in his last 10 appearances at Pebble Beach. You cannot argue with that course history. And number 3, he's not going to win because he never has here, or he hasn't in a long time here. And so
I agree.
That's playing the BetMGM cash back for second is a very good play there.
Yeah, and I agree. Jason Day is not going to be on my outright card, but I do think he has a chance to be in the conversation on Sunday. All right, Jeff, we got to get to your college basketball pick. EC, we have your college basketball pick. A lot of questions in the chat that are soccer and basketball and golf related. We're going to get to all of that right after this message from our partners.
Critics agree Landman is a hit.
We roll the dice one last time.
Men die. Oil companies don't.
Back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Buckets, before we get to Jeff Hochman, is there a live bet in the chat?
There is. In the round 19 of the Azerbaijani Premier League, we've got your favorite team, Nefsi, taking on my favorite team, Gabala. I'm going with both teams to score right now live at minus 110. Gabala is a horrendous team in this league. They only have 4 wins out of 18 matches, but those 4 wins, 3 of them came in their last 4 matches. So they're starting to turn things around. They're down 1-0 early, so they've got no reason not to push. And if you want to bet a second or another first half goal at plus 100, there's been 7 shots on target in the first 20 minutes. So it's a very, very open game, but I'm on both teams to score there, Sia.
Where do you come up with this stuff, Buckets? This is unbelievable.
It's easy when you have no friends and just kind of sit in front of your computer all day.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, that's the thing. Let's move along. It's getting kind of sad. Jeff, can you brighten the mood here? Although I will tell you that for people who are watching this show right now, and they're not, again, I hate to do this, but especially with college basketball and especially with you and Tom, when y'all put out a play, and Jeff, we see this in hockey too, the line moves. So I don't know what to say other than please make sure you're a SportsLine member, because Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but the line on BYU is minus 3.5 currently, like at present. But where did you get this number? And please talk to us about the bet and where you'd play it up to.
Yeah, thanks, Sia. I bet BYU minus 1.5. It was minus 115 at FanDuel. When I put it in at SportsLine yesterday, like Tom, I don't really like college basketball on Mondays. I find it very difficult to handicap. So I had this ready to go Tuesday. So look, BYU's offense relies on high volume 3-point shooting. They rank top 5 nationally in 3-point attempt rate. Baylor ranks 113th in effective field goal defense. They struggle defending the 3-point arc as well, 222nd nationally. BYU, they thrive on spacing, ball movement, and I just think it's a tough matchup for this Bears defense. BYU ranks 22nd overall. They own the 10th best offense in the country. Baylor's down to 44th overall per KenPom. Now, the Cougars just lost to Houston. They shot 41% from the field, and we're definitely buying low on this BYU team. They've lost 4 in a row, like I said, and they haven't covered a spread in 8 straight games. I'm going to go with Kevin Young's team. He's 43-16 at BYU. Scott Drew is fantastic with Baylor. He has 499 career victories. He's been with Baylor, like since 2000 probably. But I'm going to back BYU. I got it at -1.5, -115. 3.5 is okay. Anything under 4, obviously 1.5 would have been ideal. But let's roll with BYU at that number to break their long losing streak and get back in the winning ways.
Talk to me about Jay Long's question. BYU team total over 80.5 at -105.
Let's see. Well, what's the total on the game? I didn't even look at the total.
We'll get back to that. EC, before the show, you had an opinion on this game and this spread. Can you clarify?
Yeah, BYU is not playing a ranked team, so they're going to win. Real simple. And I really liked Hochman's number last night at 1.5. And the 3.5, I'd probably still play it. Baylor is so inconsistent. And this is, I hate to use the word must win, but you've lost 4 in a row. Your seeding is dropping like a rock. You got arguably the best player in America that actually plays in a game, unlike Kansas's guy. So yeah, this is a must win for BYU. I like the play for Hochman.
158.5, Jeff.
Yeah, I would go over 80. I would go over 80.5, especially at 105, but I wouldn't go higher than that.
All right. Let's move on. You know what? Before we get to some questions, EC, we want to hear about your college basketball plays.
Well, see, I'm very bitter after last night. Crooked officiating in Lawrence, Kansas yet again. The number 1 Arizona Wildcats went down. It was horrendous. I was waiting for you to poke at me for that today, but thank you for not. So we're going to go, since I can't do anything U of A related, let's go to the team that most recently played Arizona, which is Oklahoma State, who got crushed on Saturday in Tucson. They're going up to Tempe, not terribly far from where I am, and they are plus 140 underdogs at Arizona State. It is a must-win game for Oklahoma State. They are right on the bubble. In fact, I'm going to CBSSports.com, looking at their bracketology, and most recently, Oklahoma State was the last team in. This is you cannot lose to Bobby Hurley in Arizona State. You just can't. ASU has lost 10 of their last 13. Oklahoma State is the 5th best rebounding team in the Big 12. ASU is the worst. And with the toughest remaining schedule in the conference, there's no excuses. You have to win this game for Oklahoma State. It's a quad 2 game right now. Could end up quad 1 before all is said and done, depending on if ASU can actually win some extra games as they go forward. But Oklahoma State getting this at plus 140, I really like it. I don't need the 2.5 points. Just give me the money line. And I'm going to throw out a parlay for you, Sia, because that's what I do on this show. Let's go Villanova over Marquette. That's pretty simple. Villanova's a heck of a lot better than they are. Marquette having a terrible season. George Mason over Richmond. Richmond on a 6-game losing streak. George Mason 21-3. And finally, St. Joe's, who is playing Fordham. Fordham's lost 8 of their last 11. St. Joe's has won 7 of 9. So you put George Mason, Villanova, and St. Joe's together. That is plus 135 on a money line parlay on a Tuesday night.
Let me ask you this. We have a couple of golf questions in here, and there's a lot that I'm just not going to be able to get to because the chat is really active. I apologize for this. Scott Edwards says, better long shot, EC, Chris Kirk or Ryan Girard? And I want to add in Keegan Bradley, even though he's not as much of a long shot because Chris Kish was asking about him. Who would you rather take among those 3? For me, it would be Ryan Girard.
Gerard for me. I mean, the iron play has been fantastic. The results have been fantastic. He had 3 top 2s in a row, followed by a 14th place finish the other week at Torrey Pines, skipped Phoenix or skipped TPC Scottsdale. He has no course history here at Pebble Beach, but I still like him this week to finish in the top 20.
Let's get to some questions here. Taj for Tom Casale says SMU minus 11.5 versus Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's really struggling right now. I almost took Florida State on Saturday against them. I just didn't want to play them on the road. SMU, that's not a team I like to lay big numbers with. They're just too inconsistent for me. I mean, I can't bet Notre Dame here. I would lean SMU, but to me, SMU is that type of team you want to bet if they're getting some points or if they're like a minus 1.5 point favorite. They're just, the way they play is so inconsistent because they allow other teams to go on runs. We saw that against NC State when they were controlling the game and NC State went on like a 14-2 run. They have lapses defensively. So that concerns me covering a big number.
All right. How about Villanova minus 9.5 versus Marquette minus 115? That's another big number.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova's in a good spot tonight. I agree with EC. I know he has them just to win, but Villanova's a really good team. They ran into a hot Georgetown team who Georgetown had them for most of the game, and Villanova came back. I think Villanova is probably the most undervalued, underrated team in college basketball right now.
Appreciate the Georgetown shout out. Buckets, we've got some soccer questions in here. One from Jeff Stenberg, one from Bobcat. Buckets, do we like Norwich City team total over 1.5 at plus 125?
We really do like that bet. And it's one of the bets that when it hits, I'm going to take all the credit for, like I'm the one who found it and I'm the one who shared it with the chat. No, Norwich have scored 2 or more goals in 5 of their last 6 matches, which included scoring multiple goals against teams like Wrexham and Coventry. This team, while not well on the table, placed 17th, are really turning it on in recent months, Jeff. I think that's a great bet.
What about Chelsea minus 1?
That's a no. No, it's a very hesitant yes. Rosenier, the manager for Chelsea, did announce that they might rotate slightly in this matchup, so it's the kind of thing I would want to wait to see that starting 11. If it's anything close to their best 11, I don't hate it, but I don't love it there, Bobcat.
I've got one more from, or maybe 1 or 2 more from Brian in the soccer realm, but I did forget to do something sort of in the middle of the show. I wanted to bring up favorite football names, NFL or college football. Remember, Tom, we kind of alluded to this yesterday. I got to shout out Eric David in the chat because he sent me a list of 11 starters on offense and 11 starters on defense, special teams, coach, like all of it with his favorite football name. So before we end the show, we're going to go around the horn with your like favorite football name. One from Eric David that I had forgotten about was Peerless Price. I think that's a pretty fun name. Buckets, Brian M876 says, Buckets, do you like Newcastle team total over 1.5 at minus 125?
That was actually one of the bets I sent to our producer Ben last night before I switched it to that Bruno Fernandes play. So I do really like it still. I just like the player prop a little bit better, but I'll be playing that there.
All right. Tom, do you got a favorite football player name?
So for years, I've told my kids, what you want to do is you want to come up with a cool name because people will think you're better than you are.
Yep.
And the example I always use is Clinton Dix, who sucked for most of his NFL career. He had like 1 good season, and people were like, boy, Clinton Dix is really good. If his name was just Mike Dix, people would have forgotten about him a long time ago. So I would say that's my favorite name, not only because I like the name, because it actually extended his career by 5 years. Clinton Dix.
EC, we see that in golf all the time. People, they don't realize they're doing it, but people bet certain golfers outright because they like saying the name. They just like saying it out loud or typing it, and they get more bets because of it.
I like saying the name Scotty Scheffler, so I'll just continue to do that, Sia. My favorite name of all time, it kind of plays similarly to Tom's, both Green Bay Packers. Give me Kool-Aid McKinstry. I don't know who's naming their kid Kool-Aid or nicknaming him Kool-Aid, but that one is truly bizarre, but I'll roll with that one.
We got a lot of good ones in the chat. Icky Woods, old school, says
good,
Jeff Van de Hey. Jeff Hochman, do we have a favorite football name?
Yeah, I like Icky Woods. I was thinking of him. I like the Brickashaw Ferguson. Do you remember him from the Jets? I just think that's a cool name. And I also like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You will hear people say Amon St. Brown. They'll forget about the Ra part. But I like those 3.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, that was on Eric David's list. Give him a shout out. Jack Conklin is okay, beach bum. As Zahir Akeem is a really good one from Colin Ward. Buckets, name a football player. I feel like that's the direction we need to head with you here.
So I Googled it, and I can't tell if these are real names or if it's that Key and Peele skit where they all like say crazy names. Is there really a player currently named X-Wing, or is this?
You got Key and Peele there.
I got Key and Peele. What about Dick Butkus?
That,
Is that another
real
Key and Peele?
person.
He's a
Real
legend.
person?
one of the great players in the history of the NFL. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going with him then. We'll go with Butkus.
All right. Tank Bigsby, Ed Too Tall Jones. I feel like that one doesn't really count.
That's
'Cause,
like a
Too Tall's
nickname,
not
yeah.
really a middle
Yeah, it's-
name. Yeah. Did I say Tank Bigsby? The Fridge. Peanut Tillman is a good one from Jen. Pop Warner from Beach Bum. That's interesting. Adam Shank, the best golf name. That is a really funny name for golf. TJ Hushmanzada. I'm sure everybody remembers that commercial. House Mazoe. Who's Your Mama? Ocho Cinco. That one doesn't really count. Rex Grossman. Okay, now we're just giving like bad.
Come
these
on,
aren't good
Ben.
football names.
Come on, Ben.
There's so many. I'm going to tweet this out. We'll probably get some action there. All right. Do we have any other questions? Hand up if I missed a question. EC, Jeff Hochman, go ahead, Buckets.
One question from Giuseppe Maricino asking about the Pokal Cup match in Germany between Hertha Berlin and Freiburg. I don't know what the odds are. I do think Freiburg win and score multiple goals, though. So sorry, I can't give a better look. But if Freiburg team total or draw no better money line, if any of those are playable, that's where I'd be putting my money.
Chris Kish, who's notably not a football fan. He's like real football soccer. He says Joe Montana. Like, okay. No.
I've heard that one,
Sheik.
Chris.
Ali Haji Sheik, was that a kicker from like
It was a
30 years
kicker.
ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
For the Bengals, maybe? I don't remember. All right. That's a good one. Ali Haji Sheik. All right. Let's get to our recap. And go ahead and put it in the YouTube comments if you've got some great NFL or college football names. I feel like the college basketball and NBA category for this is just as good, if not better. Top Oceania, top Australasian, best number over at Jason Day, plus 120 in that category. Don't forget about the BetMGM promo. That second chance promotion is really, really good, especially when you have Scotty Scheffler in the field. Chelsea versus Leeds, Cole Palmer to score or assist minus 120, and West Ham versus Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes to score or assist at minus 110. Those two from Buckets. Duke minus 16.5, minus 115. That one from Tom Casale, and BYU minus 3.5, minus 110. That from Jeff Hochman. But don't forget, on SportsLine, you got the better number. Oklahoma State money line plus 140. That one from EC. And a college basketball money line parlay, Mason, Nova, and St. Joe's plus 135. Do we have a SportsLine pick? I might have skipped over this. That's on me. Jose Alvarado is our SportsLine pick. Hopefully you hung around for the whole show. Jose Alvarado over 10.5 points and assists at minus 114. Again, that is our SportsLine pick, and it's from Prop Bet Guy, who, of course, hit yesterday as well. Again, Jose Alvarado over 10.5 points and assists, minus 114. Looking for more. Deebo Samuel's a pretty good name. That's up there. Vi Sikahima, another kicker. This is very good. Buckets. What's funny? What name did you see that made you laugh?
I was on the Key and Peele subreddit when I Googled funny names, so it was just all of them.
Here we are. Kareem Gabaja Biamila is a good one. There's a lot of good ones in here. All right. We're going to get you out of here. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jeff Hochman. Thank you, Buckets. And thank you, EC. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat. We'll see you later at 7 o'clock. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, I think we're EC, I think we're already, it might be because of the one and done, we're already recruiting a few more golf fans. I think people are starting to realize that betting on golf is fun, even if you're not like a big golfer and things of that nature. It's just a fun sport to bet. So join us at 7 o'clock if you haven't already, and find out what we're talking about. You don't have to take all our bets. Maybe you sweat a few of them, and you've got a 4-day sweat on your hands from Thursday through Sunday. You have to love that. See you at 7 o'clock tonight. And a big thank you to Ben on the 1s and 2s and 6s and 7s. We'll see you very soon, folks. This is The Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. We rest our case.